Hi everyone, vacuum testing valve seats and making a useful vacuum tester. I'm not one for long introductions, so I'm just going to jump straight into this and I'll talk about the details as I go. Vacuum pumps. Well, I happen to have one of those. Not the most beautiful thing in the world, but I use it for other applications. Anyway, turns out that these are being sold on the internet as valve seat tester kits. In other words, they're supplying a pump like this and a few doodads to connect to your ports. What the yeah, you get the idea. So I'll expand on that in a moment. Okay, first up, let's check out this pump. It's a single stage 3 CFM. That's what you need to take note of. Okay, so let's see what these pumps do. You hear that noise? It sounds like it's bubbling. It's pulling straight through. No vacuum showing on the gauge. So fully closed, that's 28.5 inches of mercury. And you can't hear that bubbling noise anymore. Gone. All you can hear is the motor turning over. That's important, and we'll show you why later. But the thing to note is how much vacuum this pump pulls. So let's just have a look if we turn the pump off. And so we're looking at leak up, actually. So how fast does this leak? And you can see there's basically nothing changing. So we're testing our hose and our fittings and our pump and so on. We get some idea of how this device works. So the thing we need to take note of here is this gauge is not measuring how much anything is leaking. It's just indicating pressure or lack thereof. But we can use it as a tool. We can use that indicator to mean something. But we have to be able to make comparisons. Now the vacuum testing units, the professional ones that you can see on the internet that they use in reconditioning businesses, are nothing like this pump. They're not even close. They don't pull anywhere the amount of vacuum, nor flow 3 CFM or more. Is nothing like that whatsoever. So let's go on to the exciting part and see what happens when you put this pump that is way too powerful onto a cylinder head. So what's the next piece of our puzzle? Well, we need to make sure that our port is sealing, or that everything apart from the valves is sealing, or the leakage that we're measuring, we don't know if it's coming from the valves or where it's coming from. So what I've done is I've put 2 silicon plugs in the valve seats, and I've removed the valves, and I've put 2 very small silicon plugs in on the top of the valve guides. All the valve guides also have new valve guide seals. So we've just got an O-ring in here. It should be a little larger diameter than that, but it does work. The trouble, if you're using an O-ring, you've only got line contact, so you can lose your seal. The weight of all this can drop off your O-ring very easily. Okay, well, there you go. So there's maximum vacuum. Close the valve and no leakage. Oh, so we know that our system is not leaking. The next part is to test some valves. So I happen to know that this port leaks, so that'll be interesting. Let's have a look at that. You can hear the bubbling through the pump. Not a good sign. Okay, so there you go. Those valves are definitely leaking. Last but not least, let's have a look at a valve that I've lapped, which happens to be this one. I used 1500 grit followed by 2000 grit diamond paste. So let's see what's happening with this one. But not much bubbling going on. That's a good thing. So, not much leaking either. Very tiny amount. Okay. Now don't be confusing what we're doing here with other things that you see on the internet. It's not relevant. The tests I'm doing here are with a closed vacuum. We're not running under a pump. Everything else you see on the internet, even the ones with the low capacity professional testers, they run under vacuum. So you can't compare the two. If I did these tests under a running vacuum, of course the gauge is just going to max out, which is why I've got the ball valve there. So you can make some sort of comparison. So in the last one there, the valve that I lapped, what you're seeing, that slow leak, yes, some molecules are escaping. It doesn't look like a lot. Okay, let's move on. Finally, this is vacuum testers are not a silver bullet. It's just a tool. There's many different ways you can check if valves are leaking. There's lots of people with experience, different ways to do that. You can pour a liquid gasoline or something else down the port and check for leaks, or you can use pressure and soapy water, check for bubbles, these kind of things. All of them are fine. So what benefit is vacuum tester? It's convenient and it's repetitious, and you can make comparisons quickly. So if you're cutting or grinding or lapping, you know where you are. You know how far you are from what you consider to be a good finish. And so you can set a standard, you know, this is what I want on every valve. So this is where this tool can be useful. But as I said, you're making comparisons, so you need to know your tool. Okay, the next part, the box you see here, I'll make the box in the next video and put all the parts in and run it and see how we go and what sort of values we can use in the workshop and useful for us. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and comments and suggestions are welcome. Thank you for watching.